Hello everyone, I'm Jay Toast and this is Video Game Corner. And today I'm going to be talking about video game reproductions. Now what's a reproduction, you ask? A reproduction is exactly what that says. It's a game that has been reproduced. Now most repro makers don't make games that were licensed or made, in the United States or in their, respective areas. For example, like what I would make, because I make them, would be a game that was never released here. Like, for example, like Final Fantasy II or Sweet Home for the NES. Now, they've been translated, there's a lot of ROM sites where you use an emulator on your computer and you take the ROMs, you can play them on your computer with a controller or the keyboard. Now what I do is I take them and I put them on an EPROM and I put them onto a cart. And I take an old game and I pull certain chips, I burn them on an EPROM, rewire it, solder it back in, put a new label on the cart, and it's a reproduction. Now, the problem with this is that some people out there are making reproductions of real games and selling them as real games. For example, like Little Samson or Flintstones 2. And this is a problem. Now, you're going to always get people, as we all know, there's always going to be bad seeds. And there's a lot of people out there that complain about, reproductions being real bad for the hobby. But I myself, I don't see it being bad. I think, $500 for a Flintstones 2, $400, whatever it is now, that's ridiculous. And, with all due respect, guys, I don't really believe that it's ruining the hobby. Those prices are just ridiculous as it is, and, the reproductions aren't, I don't think they're really hurting. I mean, yeah, there's going to be people that scam, and there's going to be people that, cheat and steal, but for the rest of us, we're pretty much following the rules. And I myself, I try to follow the rules best I can. I mean, I'm sure I'll make a mistake and make something that I shouldn't. That'd be just because I don't know. But for the most part, I try to just make sure I make everything that's, allowed, I guess was the word. But I'm going to show you guys some reproductions today. I'm going to show you guys some boards that have been rewired, and just to give you an idea of what they are. One thing everybody should get that's an NES collector, especially if you're paying a lot of money for a game, is you get yourself one of these. Now, what this is that is a 3.8 security bit, and this is what you use to take apart an NES cartridge. And right here, this is a reproduction, this is a board, this is what we use. You see all the wires? See, that's what you're going to look for, and you see these right here with the little glass windows? That's what you're going to see on a reproduction. This is what you're going to end up seeing. Now, what the board looks like originally is boards are going to look like that. Those are mask ROMs. And those are the ROMs that the factory puts in. And then a reproduction maker pulls those chips, certain ones, and they put in these EPROMs. See, that's an Earthbound I'm working on. And Earthbound 0, actually. Mother 1. And you see the little window there, and then you see all the wires because it's been soldered. And then the soldering on the back will look different. You can't really see it. This was one of my earlier pieces, so the soldering's kind of messed up. It's where I got really good at soldering. Now, what you want to do is you want to get one of these bits, because if you get one of these games, you want to open it up and, look for that. Another thing you look for is the labels. Now, what a lot of reproduction makers will use is they'll just get like a sticker paper, and they'll either put like a laminate or a tape. A lot of them use like 3-inch packing tape, and they'll just put it over it like a laminate, and you can really tell because they're a lot shinier. And I actually have some reproductions here of Super Nintendo games and NES games, and like Romancing Saga 3, that's a reproduction, where the English version of Clock Tower is another one. You can kind of see how it kind of has a shine to it. That's because it has a piece of tape or laminate over it. Now, I'm going to show you some stuff today. That's just one of the ways you can look at. You also want to look at the cut lines on the sticker to see if they're cut straight. So usually when you cut them by hand, there's a little bit of imperfections. The back of it will sometimes have the wrong year, things like that. You look for things like that because a lot of times these people just use any old cart and they don't really know what the original one looks like. So look for things like that, but the best thing to do is just open it up and check it. And that's the best way to tell. And if you see it looks like all factory with just the the all black chips, you probably have a real one. I don't know if there's a way to make them the NES. I know Super Nintendo look different, but Super Nintendo have an adapter, so it's like raised up. It's a little bit different. I don't have any open Super Nintendo carts. I'm going to do that in a later video, though. I'm going to open them up and show you what they look like. But today, I'm going to show you some of the work I do. Here is an Earthbound Zero cartridge, and that was Mother 1 for the in the Mother series, Earthbound being the Super Nintendo game that goes for a bunch of money. Well, this is the NES game that we almost got, but never quite did. It's been translated and into English. I've actually played through this game, and it's actually, I'm kind of torn whether I like this version or the Super Nintendo version better. Everyone who's an Earthbound fan loves the Super Nintendo version the best, and I have a copy of that one too. I actually found it at the swap meet for $6. I didn't know at the time how much it was really worth. I thought it was like a $20 or $30 game, and I just found out what Earthbound was. It was a while back, and I got home, and it was, I couldn't believe the prices when I actually did look it up. So I got really lucky on that one. It was actually at the bottom of a bunch of sports games, which is kind of funny because sports games, they can't give them away at the swap meet. Everybody's got a Madden. But yeah, that's Earthbound Zero, and that's a card I did. Now, here's a game called Sweet Home. Now before I show you, Sweet Home was the first survival horror game that I know of for the NES, and it was based on a movie of the same name in Japan. Now, they never released it here because it was, for the time, it was so, gory and scary. It was really cool. There's, monsters and all sorts of creatures, and it's got a dark thing, and it's got the door that opens. Now, the reason why I say the door that opens, if you guys are Resident Evil fans, the first Resident Evil was actually supposed to be a remake of Sweet Home. Because Sweet Home's by Capcom, too. Now, it was supposed to be a remake of Sweet Home, but the game turned into, it was so different from what Sweet Home was. Now, Sweet Home was this thing about this TV crew goes into this house, and Lady Mamiya decides, because they're going to look at these paintings, and Lady Mamiya, who was the ghost of the lady of the house, she gets mad and says, "You won't leave here alive." And you have to go into teams and go around, and you can either be 2 or 3 in your team. There's 5, and you have to have 2 parties, and you have to basically use a lot of strategy to get through different parts of the mansion. It's a really fun game, and it's an RPG, so you level up and you find weapons and everything, to build up your stats and your characters. And you have 5 different characters to build up with 2 different parties, so you got to do a lot of grinding and strategy in the game. Now, my version, there's been versions out there that have been, I do custom paint jobs on mine, and my copy, I think, is a little unique, and people have told me they've seen painted versions from Time Walk Games and stuff. Theirs is a blood red. Well, this is mine, and mine has got a, it's got, I do a blood spatter across it. And I do the pumpkin orange. And if you see real close, you can see the Sweet Home with the guy screaming. But that's my cart, that's my version. And I think my version is actually pretty unique. And I haven't made too many of these. I've probably made about 10 of them and sold them to different people. I think it's a pretty cool game myself. Just the game itself is cool. I think the way I do the cartridge is cool. When I do sell these, I usually sell them for about 30 bucks. That includes shipping and everything, and I take PayPal. If you guys are interested in one, just send me a PM, and I'll talk to you about maybe if you guys are interested in buying one of these or anything else I have. As far as Nintendo, Super Nintendo, I don't know how to make them. I got a supplier though. Sweet Home's really cool. It's I don't really know what else to say about it right now. It's I haven't finished the game. I've played through a lot of it, but the game's it's really good from what I've seen, and the graphics were good for the time and everything. It's got the top-down view, and it's got, like I said, it's got the door that's in like Resident Evil, the door opening, and people always compare it, But I'm actually sending this actual copy to Metal Jesus Rocks. I got in contact with him, and I told him I wanted to donate some carts to him because he had given me some good advice for the show. And I've also donated carts to Ace Salieri because he gave me some good advice. So I'm just kind of saying thank you to these guys, and I don't expect them to, say anything about it. I don't want to do that. I'll do it here. So. But yeah, that's the Sweet Home cart that maybe if Metal Jesus ever does showcase it, you'll be seeing it again on his channel if you guys watch it. And if not, his channel's awesome. The guy is really cool, really nice guy. Okay, so we looked at Clock Tower for the Super Nintendo. This was a survival horror game for the Super Nintendo, and you're this girl in this house, and you and a bunch of girls end up going to live in this house, and the lady that runs the house is pretty creepy, and she ends up, you end up finding your friends dying around the house. Typical horror slasher movie. And there's this little guy named Bobby with these big giant hedge clippers chasing you around. And you got to basically get away. You don't have any weapons. And I played this game a little bit, and it had a really creepy feel to it, so all you survival horror fans, you kind of get your hands on that. I got a guy who can get any of this stuff. I can get it for you if you guys don't know where to get it. I got people that'll supply it, and I can get it for you. Romancing Saga 3, I've only played this for a few minutes. I didn't quite get it. There's like about 5 people in it. I'm going to end up finishing it because I want to finish the game. And it's another RPG. A lot of RPGs for reproduction carts. That's the thing. A lot of people, they all want the RPGs with the stories and everything like that. Now, these games I have here, this is a reproduction box. And as you can see, it's pretty neat. And this is done by a guy named UncleTusker.com. Uncle Tusker, I can't remember, but he does some really cool stuff with these reproduction boxes, and they look really good. And this is Secret of Mana 2, and what I did is I went and I bought. There's these reproduction inserts you can get, and you kind of, fold them and bend them yourself. And they're pretty cheap. You can find them on eBay. But this is Secret of Mana 2 for all you guys that are Secret of Mana fans. That's the sequel. It's actually the 3rd game in the series, because I think it was Sword of Mana. It was actually the first game, and then Secret of Mana was the 2nd game. And so this is the first name, Seiken Densetsu 3, I think I pronounced it right. If not, I'm sorry. And here's a game I'd really like to play because it looks really cool. And it's another reproduction box. It's called Treasure of Rudras. And it's another one of those Uncle Tusk boxes. And the game I got from my supplier, and I've got the insert and everything. And that's the game. And my friend that sells, he's got his RetroQuestGames.com. The guy that runs it, Eli, he's pretty cool. So, sometimes he started putting some of these. He actually does custom cases now, which is kind of cool. He does these custom shells, and I don't know if I have any handy. Or wait, yeah, I have one here. The cool thing about these shells is he had these custom made, and if you look at them, you can see how the screws are plastic. Now, what you do with these is you take let me get it. Actually, let me see. I want to show you this the secret of Manitou, because in this one, he had these custom made, and they are so neat. Actually, I can show you the inside of them. Now, what he did is he had these little tabs put on. And now this is the board in a Super Nintendo reproduction. Actually, this one's a little bit different than usual, but what he put in here is he had this little battery setup. So basically, let me see here if I can get a, oh, here it is, my screwdriver. If you look at it, what he did is he designed it so you can take the battery out. Isn't that cool? And then, yeah, you can change your batteries out, because, you know, these old games, the batteries go out all the time on them. So, what he did is he had these specially made. He had a mold done and everything by some company, and they did them, and then they put these little things, and then you put them back together, you just clip them together, good as new. And they're really cool, and he sells the shells separately if you guys ever want to get some. I don't remember what he charges, but, you know, I'm sure that they're reasonably priced. But yeah, it's like an introduction to reproductions. I'm thinking about doing some tutorials on how to make NES games, but I'm not sure. I kind of think I'll get some flack from the community, because they don't like people talking about them and sharing the information. And I think part of it's because these guys sell them themselves and they don't want the competition. And a lot of them, they're worried about people selling them and, you know, or making, you know, the wrong kind of games and not saying the reproductions, and then flooding the market with a lot of, you know, bootlegs that are, because these technically are bootlegs, but they're like the wrong kind of bootlegs, where they're, you know, saying that they're real games as opposed to saying it's a reproduction. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely going to do some reviews on, sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I have really bad Crohn's disease, and I get tired really easy, if you guys have seen any of my other videos, so I apologize. I'm a little worn out today. I usually take a lot of painkillers before I do a video, but this one was kind of on the fly because I was in the mood to do it, so I figured I'd do the video. So, I'm going to do some reviews on some games. Like, there's this one hack I've been playing. It's called Dragoon X Omega. And what it is, it's a fan-made hack of the first Dragon Warrior. And I've been playing it. I'm almost done with the game. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do a review on it. I'm also still working on my Alundra review, and Freddie and I are going to be doing the Batman Arkham Asylum review. We're still working on it. It's going to take us a while to do some of these because we just have to get our schedules together. He's been working, and I'm disabled, so I sit at home and I'm working on stuff from when I have the energy. If not, I'm just exhausted. That's just the way my Crohn's works, so it's not a fun disease to have. A lot of pain, a lot of exhaustion. But You guys didn't come here for that. You guys came to see about reproductions. So I'm going to start talking more about reproductions. I'm going to start showing my carts off. Showing my carts off. That kind of sounds dirty. But no, I'm going to start showing the carts I make and like different types of paint jobs. And like I said, if anybody's interested in acquiring one of these, just send me a message and we'll work something out. I'm not looking to make a bunch of money. I just want to share this because it's a very cool hobby, and some of these games are really good. There's a lot of cool Castlevania hacks. There's a lot of cool Mega Man hacks. There's this Mega Man hack. It's called Riddler's Escape from Arkham, where you play as the Riddler, and all the characters are called like Joker Man, Batman, Robin Man, Poison Ivy Man, Two-Face Man. All the different Batman things. I don't know why they picked the Riddler to be Mega Man's character, but whatever, right? But it's a pretty fun game, and I'm thinking of a custom paint job for that to make the cart look like a Riddler costume. It's just an idea. I'm thinking of ideas, and I got to test them, paint them, and see how they work. But yeah, I can do the Sweet Home carts. Those actually I have to charge like $35 for because they take a little bit more work. They take like a couple days just to paint and do them right. So, but $5 extra isn't really that big a deal. So this isn't really an advertisement. This is more of I am just showing you guys. I don't care if you buy anything or not. I'm actually don't have the energy to make a lot of carts, so I'll make a few. But anyway, comment if you guys are questions. Just ask me, and I'll let you guys know, and what I know, or send me a message, whatever. Subscribe to the channel if you like reproductions, because I'm going to be doing more and more reproductions as I go. So I want to focus about a good 80 to 90% of the show on that. So, and then we'll do other stuff too, just whatever hits me, and whatever I'm in the mood to do that week, But anyway, that's all I have for today. Comment, subscribe. I'm Jay Toast, and this is Video Game Corner, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.